Look, I mean, Nicole, I think this is really the AI revolution that ultimately is really being led by, of course, names like NVIDIA and Microsoft and others. But Palantir, if you look at what they're doing here, I think this could be the next Oracle or Salesforce. I mean, this was a quarter for the ages that should be hung up in the Louvre when they print that press release off. And I think this is really the start of the next phase of growth for Palantir, which continues to be the Messi of AI.
So really, I mean, when you talk about it being I saw that you were calling it the Oracle or next Oracle or Salesforce. Mm-hmm. Is there going to be a price to be paid by another name in the biz? If Palantir is growing so much, does someone else pay the price?
I don't think so. I mean, I believe this could be $1 trillion market cap, over the next 2-3 years. I mean, you've talked for years. You can't just look at these companies on evaluation over the next year. You have to look through and what this company is doing. And I believe this is a generational type of company that Karp and Palantir built. And I think, look, last night, that was a jaw dropper. And it showed fundamentally, I'd say outside of NVIDIA, in terms of some of those earnings, there's no other print and guide that I can remember in tech the last few years that matches Palantir.
Yeah, I mean, it's Alex Karp, the mover here. It was up over 25% at one point, right now 22%. We have a whole panel on it, so I'm going to leave that for a moment and get to Apple, where you have a 325 target, you have an outperform. You said the iPhone cycle, some people think it's not so great, but you're saying it's actually better than it seems, and that it takes time for Apple AI. It's not an overnight thing like maybe NVIDIA was, or even DeepSeek came in. This is going to take some time, and it's going to be good, very good.
Nicole, I think the consumer AI revolution goes through Cupertino, which I get that we're going to have ebbs and flows here. Remember, going back to last week, I mean, that was much better than feared. But as Apple Intelligence rolls out, especially in China in April, I think Baidu or Tencent can ultimately be the partner. That's the game changer for Apple. This is going to be an elongated super cycle that plays out. And I just think 25% of the world's population will access AI through an Apple device.
Amazing. Then we get to Tesla, which you said we need to focus on some of the other things, not just the automaker numbers, right? Because people are not seeing the real deal. You have an outperformance of 550 target when that's more than $150 from where it is now. The Optimus volume production, the possibility of a low-cost vehicle, and more. All of these things are equally important, or what?
Yeah, look, I think 90% of the story is about autonomous FSD and really the future. I mean, I continue to view this as the most undervalued AI play in the market. I believe the AI story at Tesla alone is worth $1 trillion. Look, deliveries are going to ebb and flow. I get that. And even though I think we'll have a better delivery number, than they've even, roundabout guide for 2025. But this is an autonomous story. It's FSD, and I continue to believe we'll be looking at a $2 trillion market cap by the end of this year.
There are a lot of people who think that he's not getting the okay and regulatory approval to have FSD in the way that he's hoping. Is that going to be a major hurdle?
I mean, look, the haters hate, right? I mean, they hated this sub 100 million, sub $1 billion. And of course, as it got to $1 trillion, I think FSD in terms of in Austin, unsupervised, that's going to happen in June. That's 6 to 9 months ahead of where the street expected. Look, I get timeline, it's going to get pushed around, but that is the story right now for Tesla. It is about the autonomous piece of this story. And I continue to believe with Musk's front row seat in the Trump White House, it's a bet for the ages that's going to continue to pay off for Tesla shareholders.
Do you feel like, I have to move on, but Elon Musk, there was a point that we were waiting for the adult in the room. I think that's what you said, or maybe putting his big boy pants on or something when he was sort of avoiding the questions in a few of the earnings calls. Do you feel like he's ready to run the country with President Donald Trump and run Tesla?
Look, in terms of Tesla, I mean, I think they are in just a massive position of strength in terms of over the next 6, 9, 12 months. But as me and you've talked about, I think the biggest hurdle was the regulatory. And that regulatory spider web, I mean, I'll take Karate Kid reference, the sweep the leg moment in the Beltway. And that ultimately will be a positive when it comes to autonomous and the federal roadmap, not on the state, federal. And I think that ultimately starts what's going to be is this autonomous, what I believe probably the biggest opportunity along with Optimus that Tesla's ever had.
Yeah, and of course, he's sort of a friend of China too, which doesn't hurt him. He figured out the China web. And in fact, I think they love his mother, I heard today. I mean, so I think he's got to win with that. Tell me about Microsoft. You did mention NVIDIA and Microsoft at the top as two clear leaders. Are NVIDIA and Microsoft still leaders in your mind? You would buy them today?
Oh, yeah. I think NVIDIA is a table pounder here, despite, obviously the sell-off. 15-1 continues to be demand to supply in terms of NVIDIA chips. Well, the tariff and other issues, DeepSeek, but that continues to be what I view as one of the core AI plays. Nothing has changed in my view. And I think with Microsoft, right now, sentiment's negative, but it was a capacity issue. The actual AI business on a $13 billion run rate, more and more, this is going to become an AI story. And I think this is just really what I'll call just a pause in what's going to be just a massive growth cycle for Microsoft that the street is underestimating.
Yeah, Google's at highs. We have Google and AMD after the bell. A fan of both of those?
Yeah, I mean, get that pop. I mean, maybe if there's some popcorn there, get that popcorn ready for Google. I think it's going to be a robust number in terms of Google Cloud. I think our advertising checks are stronger than expected. And that's one that could have $40, $50 upside here. AMD still a work in progress, but positive on that in terms of the broader story. But obviously, Lisa Su, they need to start to show some traction in terms of some of the AI initiatives.
So you're not seeing the same kind of upside potential for AMD tonight, but you said $40 to $50 for
Google.
Alphabet. Yeah, that could be a big mover tomorrow. If I had 10 grand, I tried to make it reasonable, right? 10 grand, what should I do with it today?
I think you own Palantir, Tesla, Apple, and NVIDIA. And I think that continues to sort of be over the next 3 to 6 months to play.